iedereen, my name is Lotte and welcome to my nook. So I know I look like shit and that's because I had the longest of days. It began with me waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning and it's now 9 o'clock. Actually, we had a Halloween party at work, which was really fun. Yeah, it was really great. Although I had to organize it, but it was fine. But now I'm back home and I really needed to film my TBR. So that's what you're getting today. It's not really a Halloween themed video, but you know, you guys need to know my TBR for next month. So that's why. So for the month of November, I have some pretty crazy plans. And I have 3 piles of books right beside me that I can't wait to show you. By the way, I also have a couple of audiobooks and ebooks, so I won't be able to show you them, but I will tell you about them and I'll just pop a nice picture of the book right here. So, stay put. Okay, so I did know I wanted to join a readathon in the month of November because I saw so many great ones, but I couldn't decide which one I had to choose. So I narrowed it down to 3 and actually let the people on Instagram choose the readathon that I would join. But well, 2 stood out, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do 2 and we're just gonna see how it's gonna go. But I'm really excited for both of the readathons I'm joining. Let me tell you which ones they are. The first one is Once Upon a Readathon, and this readathon is created by Hannah Blackwell, but she does it with like 16 other booktubers, so that's really incredible. I follow Kaylee from Kaylee's Books, and that's actually where I heard about this readathon and I was like, this sounds incredible, I want to join. And the other readathon I'm joining is the Nightmare Before Christmas readathon, and I'm actually now in a musical that is based on A Nightmare Before Christmas, The Nightmare Before Christmas, I must say. So yeah, I was like, this is a sign, I have to join it. It is also a great, fantastic movie, so yeah, I could not let that one go by. And that one is by a yarn reader. All the booktubers I'll mention, I will put them in the description down below so you can check them out and also watch their announcement videos, because once this is live, you still have like 2 or 3 days to sign on, at least for Once Upon a Readathon. The Nightmare Before Christmas is from the 6th to the 19th, so it's not the entire month, but Once Upon a Readathon is. But you can figure all that information out if you watch those videos, so I'm just gonna shut up about it, but start talking about the books. Okay, so for Once Upon a Readathon, you had to choose a team, and I picked the princesses. That's because most of the booktubers I'm subscribed to were on that team, so I was like, I have to support them and it's just going to be an amazing time. But the goal of this readathon is to get the apple that will give you eternity, that will make you live forever. I think that's it. You have to do 5 steps in order to gather one, so I will just talk the steps with you. So the first one is research the history of the apple tree, and there are 3 prompts. The first one is a book featuring royalty, a retelling, a title includes once upon a or time, and when you do hard mode you have to get 2 of those words in the title. And for that I actually ordered a book because I was like, I can't read multiple books for those steps because then my TBR is going to explode. So I was searching books that had those words in it and if they match the rest. And I came upon Once Upon a Dream by Liz Braswell. I had never heard about this book, but it says that it involves royalty, that it is a retelling, and it has once upon a, dus it has 3 of those words in it. So I will get all the points for this step with this book. And it is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. That's actually all I want to know before starting this book. And I'm really curious to see if I'm gonna like this. Also because I know retellings are, for me, always a hit or miss. And expectations can sometimes be the one who ruins it for you. So I'm just gonna have no expectations. Sleeping Beauty also isn't my favorite, so that also doesn't raise the expectations. So yeah, I literally have no clue. But it had a kind of good ratings on Goodreads, so, and it was on sale, so I'll do everything for the points. Also, by the way, I do quickly want to notice that for some of the tropes, for the prompts, I had no clue if they would fit because I haven't read the book yet. So I did get in contact with some of my book friends and asked them if they would fit. They said it would, so that's what I'm going off of. So let's continue. So the next step is find the map to the apple tree. And the three prompts are a book with a map, a book that you recently acquired, and a book with red, orange, yellow or brown on the cover, and hard mode is that it has 2 of those colors. For that I grabbed Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. This is the next book in the Throne of Glass series for me. So I was really happy that I could fit this one in. It has a map, as you can see. For the recently required, they said you could just count whatever you want to count. And I think recently is within this year. So I bought this one a couple of months ago, but I think it's recently acquired. And also it has orange and yellow on the cover. Also the hard mode completed with this one. Then we have Gather Companions, and the 3 prompts are a book with romance, a book featuring family, and a new to you author, and hard mode is a debut author. And for that I went online searching because I had no clue. And then I found out that A Spanish Love Deception is about a marriage. So it involves family. And it is the debut novel. It counts for everything. But that one I have on audio or ebook, I think so. The picture is here. Then we go to the 5th step, and that is Quest for the Apple Tree. And the 3 prompts are a book with magic, a book with a historical setting, and a book over 300 pages. And hard mode is a book over 450 pages. And for that one I have Babel. I have no clue how to pronounce this. I'm really sorry. By R.F. Kuang. But when I saw this one when I was in England, I was like, I have to grab it. And it fits all the prompts, and it is over 500 pages, so hard mode required. Let me read you just a tiny bit. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious garden, Robin Swift thought Babel, a paradise, until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? I have no clue. We're going to figure it out. But I do feel, I don't know, like I'm very intellectual. I don't know, but this book, everyone who holds this book is like, yeah, I go to Oxford. I'm a very smart and bright person. I don't know, this book just gives me those vibes. I don't know why. But now I am one of those persons. Ha ha ha. And then we have the last step, and that is Climb the Apple Tree. And the 3 prompts are a book featuring a conflict, a pole pig, and a book featuring an unlikable or morally grey character. And the hard mode is that the main character is a villain. It was mainly with this book that I just was like, people help me out. Which book does fit those prompts? And I had a couple of them, so I could do a poll in the Discord chat, and I did that, and the answer was A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I know probably everyone has already read this book, but I haven't. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I do really like those. Most of them. My hopes are pretty high also because this book was really hyped up, so I think it must be good, but you know, sometimes it still can be disappointing. So who knows? Okay, so those are all the books for Once Upon a Readathon, and I'm really excited to participate in this one. It's just going to be great. I can feel it, and it's also a really great mix of different kind of books, which I like in a month. I don't like to read the exact same kind of books over and over again. Okay, my battery died. I hope everything still looks just as terrible as it did before. So, The Nightmare Before Christmas Readathon, you had 7 prompts that you had to fulfill. So I have 7 books, and let's get into it. The first one is The Pumpkin-kin. Read a book with black, white or orange on the cover. And for that I chose Babel, because it has black on the cover. I also need to read that one for the other one, so I was like, that makes perfect sense and that's a really great option. So that's that. Then we have My Dearest Friend. Read a book where the main character needs help from a friend. And this one is also because someone told me that it does fit that prompt. So I just hope it does. And that's Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I'm as surprised as you are. I wanted to finish this series like a year ago, but I still haven't. So I'm really happy that I'm now finally reading the second one, even though I'm not, I don't know why, but I'm dreading this series. I literally have no clue why, but yeah, I'm really happy that I can finally scrape this one off my TBR once I've read it. And also that it fulfills a prompt. That's great. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know, this is the second book to Shadow and Bone, but I think everyone knows. Then we have Man's Best Friend, a book with an animal companion. And I'm so incredibly happy that I have this book and then I'm now able to read this book in this readathon. That's just insane to me. And that is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw, I think that's how you pronounce it. The nightmare didn't end after Christmas. As you can probably tell, this follows Sally right after the movie, and I've heard so many great things about this from so many booktubers, and yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. Oh, it has incredibly large font. Oh. So that's going to make it a very quick read, which is not a bad thing when I have to read so many books. But I am really hoping that I'm gonna like this one and that I will reread this book every year around Christmas time. Then we go to the next prompt, and that is, what's this? Read a gifted book. And for that, I'm also gonna read a book that's been on my TBR for forever. So I'm really happy that I now get a chance to read it, even though I have no clue if I'm gonna like this book. But it is Paper Towns by John Green. I have 3 books by John Green and I haven't read any of them. Well, I had those books over here. You can see there's dust on them. But I'm really excited to read this one. And no! Okay. I now just noticed that this book is in Dutch. I just thought it would be in English because Paper Towns is English. But it's not, but that's fine. I will get over myself. Then My Bugs, read a book that gives you the creepy crawlies. Read a book that gives you the creepy crawlies. And with that, it was also a little bit of guessing because, well, beforehand I can't guess if it's gonna creep me out, but there is one book that I had to read anyway, and the cover looks pretty creepy, and that is With a Vengeance by Freydis Moon. I don't know what's it with me and names. But it says dark paranormal erotic romance. It is for the Literature Book Club, of course. It really looks like it's gonna give you the creepy crawlies, so I'm counting this one. Then we have Kidnap the Sandy Claus. Read a book where a character is lost or missing. Also with that, I contacted my lovely friends at a Court of Book Clubs, and they said that These Hollow Vows does fit the prompt, so I'm gonna read that book because I had to read that one for that book club. So that's just working out really great. And I was really looking for the physical hardback copy of this book because I think it is really pretty and I wanted it on my shelves, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And now I'm like, okay, I will read the ebook or listen to the audiobook, and if I really like it, I will buy it after. So. And then we have Read a Festive Book, Making Christmas, Read a Festive Book, and for that I'm gonna read In the Holidays, and this one is by Christina Lauren, I think. And if it isn't, you will see it here in the picture who the author is. Yeah, I don't really have festive books or books about Christmas where it is a really big thing. But it was quite interesting to find one. And this one was highly praised. And I have read some other works of Christina and Lauren. So I think it's going to be a good book. So that concludes the second readathon. So as you can tell, I have quite a lot of books already to read next month, but there's more. And that's because I have 2 books that I also want to read that would not fit the prompts or weren't the best options. And the first one is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. You can probably guess why I want to read this book in November, because the title is November 9. That's the only reason. I really want to read this book on the 9th of November. And since I read Colleen Hoover books always in one sitting, I think that's not going to be any problem. The only problem is going to be that this book will be read within the 14 days that the Nightmare Before Christmas readathon is going on, where I have to already read 7 books. So I'm going to have to read 8 books in 14 days, and 4 of those days I'm on vacation. So why do I keep doing this to myself? I have no clue. And then the last and the final book I desperately want to read, and I'm so happy that I finally have it, and that is Their Vicious Darling by Nikki St. Crow. This is the 3rd and I believe final book in the Lost Boys series? In the Vicious Lost Boys series. Yeah, this is a Peter Pan retelling, and this is the 3rd book in the series. And even though it is like very smutty, it is, by the way, a reverse harem series, but it is very smutty. But even though, still the plot in the 2nd book, I really liked it. And since this book is also a bit larger than the first one, I think this one will also have a little bit more plot to it, which I'm really enjoying. So yeah, those are all the books I'm going to read in November. Well, not all, because some of them are audio or ebook. But anyways, I'm exhausted. But I really hope you liked this video, and I hope you will join me with one of those readathons, because it would be awesome to talk to you about it and get as many points as we can. So yeah, I'm really excited about reading all these books, and I will see you in the next one. Doei!